No, I actually didn't. I was paying attention to Guardy in the outfield, so it's maybe something I need to look at. But I did not see it because I was hoping the ball wasn't going to go out, and Guardy acted like he had a chance. But
Have you heard about it?
no, it's the first I've heard of it.
Is it?
I'm always the last one to know, Meredith.
Do you think it's fair for a pitcher? He essentially threw his bat and was shouting some things. Do you think it's fair for a pitcher to get a little upset at that?
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's people are always going to take exception to when they feel that they're being showed up, and I understand that, and sometimes players do it intentionally, but most of the times they don't. It's become accepted in our world that you can do things when you do things well in sports, where years and years ago it wasn't accepted. So the game has changed, but I'd have to see it to really understand it.
Anthony.
Joe, saw Tanaka throwing in the outfield. He's on track for everything, and that's just a bullpen today.
No, he had a bullpen yesterday, so it's just catch today.
All the way in the back. Joe.
So if Tanaka feels good after pitching on Sunday, are you going to give him another start?
Yes, we would. I mean, if everything goes well Sunday, he'll start again, yes.
So it's going to be 4 days rest or 5 days rest?
Let's just see where we're at and how he does on Sunday. My initial inkling, it would be on his 6th day.
So 2 is enough for him?
Yeah, well, there's really, I mean, if he comes through those 2 and he's fine, and we're going to, we'll look at it, but I don't think there'll be any more starts for him in the regular season.
Thank you.
Sorry. Anthony.
And how deep do you expect him to go? What's his ceiling pitch-wise?
Well, I think it's fair to say that he could give you 70 to 75. I think you have to see how he's doing, though, obviously, but I don't think that number's out of the question.
Georgie.
Joe, when he got hurt, what was your initial response to it?
Well,
you lost your ace and everything else.
Well, I think anytime someone talks about that area, there's a high level of concern. And there's always the fear that they're going to have surgery fairly quickly, like Nova did. But so far, everything has been good in his rehab, and we've been able to avoid it. So, I mean, you hope that it continues, and I think you're going to find out a lot more in the next 8 days or whatever it is. But there's always concern, George, when you see that.
Sweeney.
Joe, other than the fact that anytime a pitcher goes out there and throws, he could hurt himself, why isn't this a risk, sending him out there now?
Well, it would be a risk. I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you saying why not wait till next year?
Why now? Why pitch him now as opposed to waiting or doing
because we feel that if his arm is going to be okay, it's going to be okay. And if it's not, then we want to have it done to where you don't miss parts of 2 seasons, in a sense. So, well, it'd be 3 possibly if it was to happen, early next year. You miss part of this season next, and then probably part of the following season. So this way, if it doesn't work, we probably wouldn't have him for next season. But if he would have had it in July or August, you probably wouldn't have had him anyway. So it's a risk worth taking.
Anthony.
Joe, you have Beltran back in there today?
Yes.
Everything's okay with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously I'm sure he's out there with a heavy heart, but I thought I'd give him yesterday, and I would have used him yesterday if I felt that there was a spot, pinch hitting. But I just felt, sometimes, for athletes or anyone, it's good to get back out there to doing what you're used to doing and living that normal life. Obviously, he's got a heavy heart, and we have a heavy heart with him. But hopefully it helps getting him back out there.
Mark.
Joe, I know Corona doesn't have the flashy name or a personality that some other pitchers have, but how important has he been to your rotation these past 3 years in terms of just stability at a time where CC was hurt and ineffective, and Tanaka got hurt, and Andy retired, and he just seems to be the one constant?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably the way to put it. He's been the one constant that we've had, and he's been very good. And he's had 3 good years for us and has been consistent and takes the ball on his turn. I mean, he's been a big part of our rotation. And, you know, it's interesting. The oldest guy is the one still standing, you know, which is kind of interesting. But he's a true professional.
Anthony.
Joe, Chase has only been here a fairly short time, and he's got 3 walk-off hits. Do you feel like guys have a knack for that sort of thing, or is it just a matter of an opportunities come up and he's been able to deliver, or are there players who can do it?
No, I think that some guys have a knack for it. I do. You know, obviously you have to be put in that situation, but again, I think it's being able to relax in those moments to be able to do that. And some guys can really have a knack for it.
Can you think of other guys?
Well, I thought the one year Milky sure did. I'm not so sure how many he had that year, but he sure had a lot in 2009.